Come on, Bitsy.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. It's the 13th of November. We are at $87,500 and we are hopefully consolidating at this price. We're going to go through an awful lot of stuff today. As you would expect, it is a busy time. We're in the bull run. Lots of people are excited, but we will have corrections. We will have profit taking all along the way. And these could possibly be the times to pick up some of the bags of the coins that you wanted to get 48 hours ago. So what we're going to go through today, we're going to go through the $1 million target from Arthur Hayes. Is he talking nonsense as always, or is he for once talking sense? We're going to talk about Bhutan. We're going to talk about Sol. We're going to talk about the Doge ETF. We're going to talk about Doodles. We're going to talk about the UK creating a Bitcoin reserve, and then if we've got any time left, we'll look at anything that we've talked about in the chat. Now, one of my chats isn't working today, so I can't really see who is in chat, but I think I have spotted Bullish Bull. I think I spotted Kishan. KB, Chris is here. Eugene is here. Eugene from a far happier part of the world than it was maybe a week and a bit ago. So welcome to you all. If you're new here, smash the like button and follow us. We are nearly at 187,000. It did go up a little bit yesterday. So we are now 13,000 away from 200,000. It's looking more and more likely that we get there. We're also going to look at some X-Files, some important, some a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and of course the markets. All of that. And of course, we do it all in 1 hour. That's it, pretty much. So if you're new here, say hello as well. We don't bite. There are no stupid questions, only stupid answers. So how are the markets looking? We are just below 3 trillion. We were 3 trillion yesterday. We've just fallen below it. But look at the volume. Look at that volume. $370+ billion in 24 hours. I said 120 billion was the bare minimum for the bull run. I did not expect it to 3x my targets. I was basing it on the last bull run. Bitcoin dominance, ETH dominance, both coming in and both picking up. We are going to have a little look at Bitcoin dominance because it's kind of done what we thought it would do. So we're going to have a look at that in a minute. The charts are looking very healthy. Forget the profit taking, forget the slight moves to the downside. It really isn't an awful lot. Bitcoin 87.5. Ethereum is down at 31.50 plus. Solana is back. 205, 206 is a good price for it to hold. BNB is still holding above $600. Doge, I can't believe Doge is now this high. Again, that is at 37 cents. It was at 40 cents yesterday. XRP had a bit of a pump yesterday. I think it got above 71, 72 cents. That was doing quite well. Cardano is still hanging in there. It has retraced a little bit, but still 53 cents. We were talking about a 32 cent Solana a week ago. So don't worry when you see these double-digit red days. You have to take profits along the way. It has to be done. If you are in it for the long haul, ignore all of those things. But if you're in it to make profits here and there, there's no harm in taking profits at any point of the bull run. Take some off the table. Now, gainers, Peanut is up 232% in the last 24 hours. It has a $1.4 billion market cap. I will tell you this till I'm blue in the face. Once a meme coin gets up towards this price, where does it go? Can it go to 3 or 4 billion? Maybe. That's only another 200% up. Is it likely to fall down below $1? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you've got into this coin at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents and it's at $1.40, what should you be doing? You should be taking a big old chunk of profit. So again, don't chase the tornadoes. It can keep running. Maybe it gets to $2, maybe it gets to $2.50, but it is going to come back down. Look at Gotius. Gotius ran all the way up and then it corrected all the way to the downside and now it's on its way back up again. Don't chase the pump because the pump will, I can't say certain words, the pump will kick you in the nuts. Eunice is up, Bonk, Tron, Sui is up, XRP is up just a tad. And on the downside, what do we have? ASI has come back down 15%. BitTorrent is down 15%. Nero, Jasmy, Starknet, Polygon, Paul, Brett. Brett is just under 11 cents. That's my buy price for Brett. Optimism down. There's lots and lots of profit taking. And again, a lot of the money will flow back into Bitcoin. Bitcoin comes back down from 89.5 to 87. People are going to see as a good opportunity to get into their Bitcoin position. They'll sell their alts and they'll pump it into Bitcoin. And that is what we're going to look at as well. In a minute, we're going to look at Bitcoin dominance. I can't get my words out today. A small disclaimer. We are about to have a storm today and tomorrow and maybe even Friday. There will be storms. For whatever reason, it affects our internet connection and we don't know why. Okay, so I was having terrible internet problems today. They seem to have gone away. Fingers crossed. Now let's start with the silly season and some predictions. Now again, Matthew Hyland doesn't predict silly season targets. Of course he doesn't, but he's got his fib target, which was 89,000. The next target is 114,000. Okay, there are several ways to work out where Bitcoin is going next. I have my own theory that we're going to go through in a minute. I think we're going to form some kind of bull flag in the next few days, next week, and then I think we'll tread water and then we're going to pop to the upside. That is what I think. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Now then, another company. Now this is a tiny company, okay? This is I'm calling it the silly season because it's hype season. So this company, which is only valued at about $15 or $20 million, have said that they are going to buy $120 million of Bitcoin. How do they do that? They do a share issue. Will people buy that share issue if they want to go and buy $120 million of Bitcoin? Of course they will. Okay, look at MicroStrategy. It's going to go and buy another $42 billion of Bitcoin. So these things happen. But again, look at the underlying company. Would you go and buy a company that doesn't really have a big market cap? Would you buy that to simply tap into Bitcoin, or would you just go and buy BlackRock ETF, or would you just go and buy it directly at spot? Again, there's going to be more of these. About 4 or 5 years ago, a small German company, I think they put the word Bitcoin into their company name. And I think it went up about 2 or 3 or 4, even 400%. It absolutely ripped. And then, of course, when people realized it had nothing to do with Bitcoin, the price fell away. So again, just because it's got the word Bitcoin, just because it's got the word crypto, it doesn't make it a sound investment. Now then, this one, again, has taken me a little bit by surprise. Canary has filed for a H-bar ETF, which will track the native asset of the Hedera network. Didn't see this one coming. There are a lot of H-bar Hedera maxis out there who say it's the next great thing, but there's also people talking about many coins like that. Why have they picked H-bar? What is the business case for H-bar? My advice would be very simple. If you own H-bar, I would look to sell it probably before the ETF goes live, because I think it's going to be a damp squid. What is the appetite to buy this token? If you ask people, what does Bitcoin do? They will probably say store of value. If they ask, or you ask them, what does Ethereum do? They might say it's the blockchain computer. Fair enough. Solana, they might say, oh, it's retail, it's memes. Okay. Ask them what Hedera does. Nobody will tell you. Who's going to buy this and why they're going to buy it? Again, the question should be, when are there going to be too many ETFs? That's the question. Now, there is one thing I cannot cover on this stream because we're streaming on an exchange today, and that is one of the exchanges in America has just launched an index tracking 50 cryptocurrencies. And in typical political fashion, they have excluded the likes of Crow and they have excluded the likes of BNB. So immediately, as soon as I saw that, I threw it in the bin. Okay. You can't create an index tracker and not include those. Okay. Now, maybe there is an argument to say that they shouldn't include Crow. Maybe there is, but there's certainly no argument to not include BNB. So again, that loses in my books immediately. Bitcoin overtook silver as the 8th most valuable asset. I did tell you this yesterday, but I didn't bring up the chart. It's a huge milestone, reaching the top 8, just a 10x away from gold. And again, if we make this a little bit bigger for you to see, I'm sure I just pressed open the image. Where is the image? Okay, is it this one? Anyway, maybe we just click on it. There we go. Right then, so gold, of course, is the #1 asset in the world. Then you have Nvidia, which has had a absolute barnstorming year. And then you've got the usual suspects, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, which I think is listed under Alphabet, so I don't know why they include it as Amazon. Then you've got the Saudi, I think that is their wealth fund. Then you've got silver, Bitcoin is in 8th. I would expect maybe at peak bull run, we are likely to see 5th position. I don't think we're going to go top 4 this bull run. I think 5th at a absolute push. I don't see us. 3 trillion is a 2x from here. That puts us at 170,000. That's going to be a tough call. That's at the upper end of my targets. So I think if we can get to 5th in this bull run, I think that would be a good move for Bitcoin. But just bear in mind, these are the most expensive, most valuable assets in the world. Okay? And they are tech, Saudi royal family, tech, gold and silver. Okay? Now, if you look at this, or if you looked at this maybe 10 or 15 years ago, this would be a completely different top 10. Look, just like we looked yesterday at the top 10 assets in 2021 when Trump came into power. That changed slightly. 4 or 5 tokens changed. This, again, 10 years ago would be something totally different. The likes of Microsoft, Google, Amazon probably wouldn't be up there 10 years ago. But gold and silver would have been, because they are a commodity, they are a store of value, as is Bitcoin. So in 10 years' time, we might see MicroStrategy in here. We might see other companies in here that are not necessarily social media stock. Maybe we have crypto related companies in here. Who knows? Maybe even Liberty Finance, Donald Trump's Achilles heel, will be in there. Let's move on. I haven't read any chats. Press the like button. Great show. Always discussing interesting topics. Hello, DJ. I hope you are well. Remember, if you are new here, smash the like button and say hello, as they have done. Right, Giga. Price was nuked after a phishing incident, but is it the full story? A 67 million Giga cluster suggests otherwise. Now, I'm not going to go into this in too much depth, but if you remember, I said to you 2 or 3 weeks ago that Giga was being pushed by an awful lot of social media influencers. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people on X were pushing this token before anyone had ever heard of them. And then suddenly there's a $67 million exploit. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist. I've certainly never been invited by Elon Musk to go and help work on his rockets, that he wants to be more pointy. But $67 million does sound like something which wouldn't nuke the coin because the coin went very high, but would certainly be a handsome payday for social media influencers. So as I said, when I see a coin that isn't really in the public spotlight being promoted so heavily on streams and on tweets, that is a red flag to me. And the hack is probably not a hack, but them getting out of their position and walking off with a fair few dollars. Now, I am not saying anybody in particular has done this. I'm not going to name names, but this, at the time it happened, I called it out, and now we've got a $67 million payday. You work that out in your head, because I'm certainly not going to sit here and cast any aspersions against anybody in particular, but it stunk at the time and it stinks now. And that goes for lots of other coins. There are certain coins which I do not look at because they are so heavily promoted by shillfluencers, and I don't do that. Right then, where are we with the Rect? Now, when I looked at this before, about 2 hours ago, the Rect was up over 850 million. So that's a sign that the market is starting to calm down. The longs, of course, are going to get smashed. They were expecting 91,000. I think we got to 89.2. Then we've come down to 87. Now we're at 87.5. So I think we're going to see that 24-hour Rect come down to maybe 200 or 300 million tomorrow, which is where it's normally at. 12-hour Rect, again, you're seeing the longs being taken out. But on the 1 hour and the 6 hour, or the 4 hour, sorry, you're not seeing much difference. And if you look in the top right-hand corner, you will see there are slightly more shorts than longs. And normally, when people predict a price to go down, it goes up. The very same way that we said that every time we think Bitcoin is going to go up, it comes down. So again, the longs have been wrecked. But listen, those longs getting wrecked, they are a drop in the ocean compared to how much in shorts were getting wrecked. When we were ripping up 2 days ago and shorts were trying to extend their positions, they were just getting absolutely trounced every hour. It wasn't even every day, it was every hour. We broke 85. Hundreds of millions got liquidated. We broke 86, 87. All along the way, the shorts got absolutely smashed. Now, never back against Bitcoin dominance. Good morning, Tariq. Bitcoin dominance. I said we needed to wait and see. Did I not? I said we needed to wait and see. I have 3 lines because we have followed 3 different trends. Even if you go back to the start of the year, start of last year, we've been following this trend. We broke up. We did top out, and then we came straight back down. But we didn't really come too far down, did we? We came back down, and now we've actually gone even higher. This is our all-time high for this bull run of Bitcoin dominance, which is coming in at, well, I think we've probably wicked up to 61, haven't we? So 61% has been touched. We have still got 6 or 7 weeks left of the year. I mean, you can't back against Bitcoin at this moment until this starts to do this. You can't bet against Bitcoin. Is it a good time to buy alts? Yes, because we're at 61%. And maybe we go to 62, maybe we go to 63. But don't suddenly say, right, well, I'm now going to sell my alts and get into Bitcoin, because you should have done that all of this period. This was holding Bitcoin all the way. We could go even further, but this was the trend line. You could have held Bitcoin for 2 years and it would have outperformed the market. Okay? Getting in on the last 8 weeks and 7 weeks into Bitcoin is probably not the time to start stacking up on Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. Okay? You should always have Bitcoin, but Ethereum, Solana, Cardano now, XRP now, those two have been vilified, but they're going to come good. I think the Trump victory is going to see Cardano and XRP have a really good bull run. I think Ethereum is going to have a good bull run because the first half of the year is better than the second half of the year for Ethereum, so I think that's going to have a good run next year. I think Solana is going to get an ETF. There's so much positive news. You can't really keep going on about it. But now is probably not the time to be going heavy on Bitcoin. Now is the time to have a Bitcoin allocation, but now is also the time to think about the major alts. What happens when Bitcoin stops pumping? The money goes into alts and unfortunately probably into meme coins this cycle. And I don't want that as much as you don't want that, but that's just the way it is. And I think the way people are talking, maybe that you do need to have some meme coins. It is what it is, which is a saying that my wife absolutely hates. Right then, let's move on to some actual news. I'm going to look at the Bitcoin chart after this and see where we are. Arthur Hayes has explained how Bitcoin's price could soar to $1 million. Again, you're going to see X saying that we're going to hit Y. And it's going to happen in every currency. It's going to happen with everybody. You're going to start to get everybody crawling out the woodwork. People you've not heard of for years are going to crawl out the woodwork. And I'm not saying Arthur Hayes has crawled out the woodwork by any means. He has been constantly talking about Bitcoin and crypto over the last 2 or 3 years. It's not like he's crawled out the woodwork, but Rich Dad Poor Dad, you know, Andrew Tate, even Alex Jones was talking about Bitcoin today. He's had that guy on the show. I can never remember the name of. Anyway, there's more of them out there. I'll think of his name as we're going through the stream. So he's explained that Bitcoin could unlock such price heights if Donald Trump's administration emulates China's economic development model. Bitcoin has been on a bullish price movement for over a week, fueled by the victory. We did tap 90,000. Arthur Hayes has said that we could top at a million, or attain a million, should I say, not top at million. I don't think there is a top for Bitcoin. So black or white, Trump's latest tenure as the United States' 47th president could embrace their economic model, calling it the American capitalism with Chinese characteristics, which is ACCC. That's not really very catchy now, is it? He hopes the US government will implement tax incentives and subsidies. We don't need to talk about that. Impact on Bitcoin. Bitcoin will become the sought-after asset as the US dollar devalues. Such a massive adoption could drive Bitcoin's value as high as $1 million. Now, again, there's lots of complicated calculations. The more dollars there are, the more money there is in the world, the more a scarce asset can attain value. So, could we ever see a $10 million Bitcoin? Yes. Could we ever see a $100 million Bitcoin? Yes. But the money supply has to get large enough to sustain that price. $1 million is probably still 6 years away, 7 years away, 5 years away. It's somewhere in the future, okay? Because it takes a lot of money to go into Bitcoin to get that price. Could it hit $200,000 this bull run? Yes, it could. That's a more achievable goal. But we're only 12 months away from all-time highs. So there's an awful lot of money that has to come in to get it to that price, and we're running out of time. We are potentially 370 days away from the all-time high. So we're not even more than a year away. We're 12 months away potentially. And if it runs to January, then yes, we're 400 days away. But we've got to 90,000 way before I expected us to get to 90,000. He thinks then that we could get seriously high. The victory has unlocked all of the uncertainty. People are so much happy. Interest rates are coming down. Arthur Hayes thinks we'll hit $1 million. Again, there is no factual backing of that target. I think it's more of a symbolic number. If Bitcoin goes to $975,000, I don't think anyone's going to care. I'm certainly not going to care. I would be dancing in the streets. Right, Ren, remember, say hello. Let me know you are watching, where you are, what you're up to, what are you buying as well. That's an important point. I haven't bought anything since the pump. That is not what I am doing. I am holding my bags. Now then, this is the daily chart. I'm going to drop that to the 8-hourly chart. This is my next setup. Okay. KB, it's just a chart. Okay, I think we could probably form a pennant, stay at this price until maybe about the 16th of November, midway, which is 3 or 4 days away, and then we go to 100,000. Okay? Maybe we do. Okay? That's just one thing I see on the horizon. It might not happen. Okay? Now, the 82.4 that is on there, believe it or not, 9 o'clock on Tuesday, we actually came down to that. That is the kind of, that's where the most of the buy orders are, 82,500. There are people talking for 78,000. There are people talking for 68,000. And again, don't go all in. We said yesterday when we were going towards 90,000, dollar cost averaging. That means you would have bought an $89,500 Bitcoin and an $87,000 Bitcoin today. So again, your average price might now be 88,000. If we go down to 82,000 and you buy again, that will drop your average to 84 or 85,000. You want to end up, before we go up another leg, you want to end up with an $84,000, $85,000 average price for Bitcoin, okay? And if we just break up tomorrow, the day after, you've got an $89,500 and an $87,000 Bitcoin. So if we go to $100,000, you're already nearly 20% up, okay? But we could cool off. We do not have a God-given right to go up in a straight line, and nor should we. We want the average to do this. And what we want to see from Bitcoin is this, and at some point, retest it before going higher. And to do that, we either need to tread water, which means we go sideways, and as we go sideways, this comes up and meets us, or we go up and we retrace. Maybe we go to 100,000, 103,000, and we retrace. I watched the Oracle last night. The Oracle streamed for an hour. A lot of you watched that, what he was talking about. What you would say is, that stream he did last night, he gave you a 12-month target for Bitcoin. And I can't remember if he had 155,000 as his top out at the end of this bull run. I've said all along, my bottom price target for Bitcoin, I think, is about 112,000. That's the worst I think we're going to do. And the further we go up, the more stupid my price target is going to be, because we could hit that in January, February next year. I know that, but it's a conservative target based on diminishing returns. Could we go to 140, 150,000? Absolutely. Of course we can. But there's a lot of things that can happen between now and then. You know, we talk about black swans. If there is an issue in Taiwan, it will shock the markets. Now, if it happens in the next 3 months before Trump comes into power, then that is going to stunt our end of year. Okay, maybe it doesn't happen before the end of the year. Maybe it happens May, June next year when Trump is in power, and then we've got a different type of black swan. But always keep in mind that there are telegraphed black swans that could happen. And yes, we could go to 155, 185, 250,000 in this bull run, but that would require us to have 12 months of no black swans. And the way things are going in the world at the minute, we have a lot. So those lines haven't changed since yesterday. I think we get down to 82.4 and we bounce. But I do think 90,400 is the level to break for me. Let's move on very quickly. I want to know what price Bitcoin has to get to for Tariq to buy his Tesla. You need to tell me in chat. El Salvador. They obviously have been stacking Bitcoin since, I don't know, $30,000. They've now got $500 million of Bitcoin. And I have mentioned in passing Bhutan, not butane, it's a gas, but Bhutan. And they have been mining Bitcoin, I believe, for a while. That is Bukele, I don't know what he is. Is he the president of El Salvador? So El Salvador have $500 million. Bhutan has $1 billion. It is now more than 1/3 of its GDP versus El Salvador which is just 1.5% of its GDP. Now, the thing, as far as I'm aware, about Bhutan is they started mining it a while ago. The tiny South Asian state with a population of 800,000 is sitting on a Bitcoin stash of 12,500 tokens, worth 1.1 billion at the current price. Put another way, the value of Bhutan's Bitcoin holdings amounts to more than 1/3 of the country's GDP, or just under 3 billion. So, talk about debt. 1/3 of their GDP is held in Bitcoin, and that's only going to go up. The chances are that could top out at 3 billion, and that would equate to 100% of their GDP, which is incredible. We've seen as well over the last 24 hours, Ursula from the European Union saying that it's absolutely imperative that they get CBDCs because they're starting to lose control of the monetary situation in Europe. So if you believe that this is for the good of the population, you are sadly mistaken. This is all about controlling the money supply. Don't forget that. They are not out to adopt Bitcoin at any point in the near future. They are out to try and control the money supply. And that is why they want a CBDC. And once they get a CBDC, they will know where every cent and every euro in the European Union is. And they will be able to track it down to wherever you have it. Whereas at the minute with cash, it's very difficult to track. So again, it's about control. So after purchasing Bitcoin on a few occasions through the 2021 bull rally, El Salvador began dollar cost averaging in November 2022. The country today said it intends to buy back 2.5 billion of its dollar-denominated debt. According to Bloomberg, El Salvador's debt has returned to 4.7% since the election of Donald Trump. Again, so different countries approach Bitcoin in different ways, and you have early adopters and you have late adopters. And America wants to become an early adopter on a massive scale, 200 million Bitcoin a year. Bhutan and El Salvador in 10 years' time are going to be very wealthy nations because they won't have to sell their Bitcoin. They may be able to borrow against their Bitcoin and then borrow at a rate which is probably less than the rate that Bitcoin appreciates in. And if you've ever listened to Michael Saylor, that's how he would operate. If you have 10 Bitcoin worth let's say $850,000, and you want to borrow $40,000 a year to live on, that's 5% of your Bitcoin holdings. If you're paying, let's say, 10% interest on that, which is $4,000 a year, he would expect the value of your Bitcoin over a 5, 10, 20-year period to far outstrip that interest rate that you're paying. So he is not one that's going to advocate selling your Bitcoin, but you use it as an asset to borrow against. You use it as collateral because the collateral will be a higher return. The value of your Bitcoin will be a higher return than your loan. That's what he is expecting. Now, Solana, is the price set to reach $600 this bull market? And I said, I think on yesterday's stream, on Monday's stream, I think we'll get to $600 without an ETF and maybe nearly $1,000 with an ETF. And we're already over 100. Are we nearly at 100 billion now for Solana? I think. Is Solana at 100 billion? Or is it just below now? Is it retraced? 97 billion. Okay. So if we get to $600, that is a $300 billion asset. So it's still not going to flip Ethereum because Ethereum is going to move up considerably from where we are now. But 300 billion top out for Solana isn't bad. If we go to $1,000, that's a $500 billion asset. That's a 5x. It would need the ETF money to do that because that's an awful lot more money to get Solana that high. Let's go back to the article. Let's see what their arguments are. So it's popular. Again, the VCs and hedge funds are involved. We know Snowden doesn't like that. He says it's centralized. I don't care what Snowden says about it. We know it's centralized. We know it doesn't have the greatest tokenomics, but it has users. And it's a little bit like supporting Liverpool or Man United or whatever. You're not disliked for any other reason than you support a popular team. You know, Man United haven't played well for about 10 years. People still don't like United fans. Leeds are in the second division. People still don't like their fans. So it's not really about the performance. It's about the fact that they're popular. And Solana is popular. It's popular with the VCs. It's popular with DeFi. So that brings in the likes of PayPal. It brings in the likes of Franklin Templeton. It's a popular blockchain. And that comes with its detractors who have the green-eyed monster. Cardano, Maxis talk about Solana. Stay in your lane. Talk about the benefits of Cardano. I like Cardano, but talk about Cardano's benefits. You know, if you're an ETH Maxi, talk about how good Ethereum is doing with its 7-year roadmap, which is absolutely ridiculous. But talk about Ethereum that, you know, big up your own chain. You know, what's the point of standing there saying, I don't like Solana, it's rubbish? That's negative energy. So, what do we think Solana can do? Trump has come in. Bitcoin's gone to all-time highs. We are not near all-time highs on most other tokens. Solana's all-time high is, what, $255? We are at $205. Can it get to $600? Again, if we get to $300 by the end of this year, I think we are easily going to hit $600. 33% of the VCs that were asked said that they expect a $600 top. Oh, we'll go above it. 23% said it's the limit. The rest believe it will go between 150 and 300. I don't believe for 1 minute, if we have a bull run, a decent bull run, I don't believe for 1 minute that we're going to sit here next year talking about a $200 Solana. Worst case, what's the worst case Solana does? 400? 450? The adoption that's coming is going to come to Solana. The meme coins are on Solana. The DeFi is on Solana. Where are people going to go? They're going to go to Solana. So if you had to pick one ecosystem to really outperform, you've got Camino Finance, Jupiter, Radium, Orca, Solana itself. You've got MOG, you've got Mu, you've got Bonk, you've got all the top meme coins. You've got all the top DeFi products in one place. So if you have to pick one horse to win this race, in that top 10, it would be Solana. But it doesn't mean it's going to have the 20x return that other coins are going to have, because it's already at 100 billion. But it's going to do really well. It's been the best performer. It's up 50% against Bitcoin's 40% and Ethereum's 37%. This outperformance will continue because it has greater exposure to emerging sectors, deep in and meme coins. Yeah, deep in as well. I suppose you've also got the likes of Helium. If Solana does well, every major ecosystem coin on Solana is going to do exceptionally well. And Helium, which I don't personally like, that will also do incredibly well. So I think that's going to do really well. We don't need to know about gaming tokens. I don't think this is the bull run for the metaverse. I don't think it's the run for gaming tokens either. I think they're both still too early. There is no doubt that gaming and the metaverse has a place in the future. It's just not now. It's just not now. It's like when you look back at games from the 1990s and the 2000s, they're really blocky and chunky, and there's no real thought behind them. Not thought, that's not the right word. There's no real intelligence in the games. That's kind of where we are with 97% of games. It's just too early. Ethereum, they think it will peak between 3,000 and 5,000. A third, it will go with 5,000, 7,000. I'm a lot higher on Ethereum. I think it will go to 8 to 10,000 simply because of the ETF. And believe you me, it doesn't sound any simpler than this. If somebody puts $10,000 through their broker into ETFs, that broker will probably put 8,000 into Bitcoin and 2,000 into Ethereum. That's why it's going to go high. And there is no other logic than that, because the person putting the money in isn't stupid, and they're not going to want to put it all in one pot. When we get the Solana ETF, we might see a 70-20-10 allocation. 70% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 10% Solana. It doesn't matter about tokenomics. It doesn't matter about the use case. It doesn't matter about anything we talk about. They will diversify based on the market cap of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And that's why we might see 70-20-10 or even 60-20-20, whatever it might be. Who benefits from that? Ethereum and Solana. That's why I think Ethereum is a winner. So let's go and very quickly have a look at the Solana chart. I don't even know where we are at with the price action. Oh, we've got a few people in chat. Aaron, good morning. Not seen you in ages. AVAX, solid project. I hold a tiny fraction of AVAX. It is going to do well. It's set up. 2 years ago, I said AVAX was crap. And at the time, I said it was crap. It was. And it's moved heaven and earth to become a decent project. And again, you have to change your opinion when you have more information. I think AVAX will do well. It's got more stable coins now, which means more liquidity. It's got better DeFi. It's got games coming there. It's also got meme coins. It will do incredibly well. Peter, good morning, Peter. Peter doesn't own any crypto. He thinks it's all a scam. Good to see you guys. Life is about crypto. Second, suppose people don't have crypto, not smart. Anyone heard of Murad and his meme coins? Yes. I'm invested in top 5 memes, do better than any conventional crypto projects. 5x bull run for AVAX, I would say so. I tend to stay away from any coins Murad owns and shields. So basically, Murad, was he an ETH maxi or a Bitcoin maxi? He's got long hair and he's got a very nice, or he had a very nice goatee beard. And he dropped his Bitcoin or ETH maxi and went into meme coins. And if you follow him, you're going to get trashed. Basically, you should never follow anybody. You should never listen to anybody's opinion, and that includes mine. If you want to go and buy coins based on somebody else's opinion and use that as gospel, that is a way to end up in tears. There are people, of course, who will follow the likes of Warren Buffett, and I totally understand that. He has spent 20-odd years, 30-odd years, however long he's been doing it, being a success at this. But he's got this completely wrong. He's sat on cash. He sold out before the election. Trump has come in, and it's cost him $4 billion. So even Warren Buffett's got it wrong. Following Murad, and I've watched Murad, and I was going to make a video, but it's very negative, and I don't want to make the video, about false idols. Now, we had CZ. We had Sam Bankman-Fried. We had Alex Mashinsky. We had Do Kwon. False idols. People hung on every word they said, okay? They've all gone. And now we have a new set of false idols. We have Ansem. We have Murad. And I'm going to say Meow. Now, Meow is the top cat at Jupiter. I like the guy. And he's honest about his mental health. And I totally respect him for that. And I'm not saying he's done anything wrong. What I'm saying is we shouldn't be idolizing these people. I don't idolize anybody, okay? Whether it be Michael Saylor, Vitalik, Charles Hoskinson, Anatoly, you don't idolize anybody because they're all fallible, because they're all human. And Murad, let's say Murad makes $100 million in this bull run and he sells when he thinks the top is. He's got no God-given right to tell you. So you sit there holding your bag of meme coins that he's told you to buy. But what you don't know is he sold those and bought 3 other sets of meme coins along the way. You can, if you're going to follow somebody like that, you have to copy trade them. And he won't be set up to copy trade. It's like these people that post $1 million gains on Bitcoin longs. Anyone can go and create a paper trading account and long Bitcoin for $200,000 and short Bitcoin for $200,000. And whichever one works, they post it on X. And everyone goes, ooh, this guy knows what he's doing. And then they follow him and they all get wrecked. And he doesn't care because he's made the commission out of you joining the exchange that he's shilling. So I don't follow anybody like that. I keep an eye on people. I follow multiple different types of accounts on X and multiple different types of streamers. And you have to be careful. Now then, this is beautiful. For those of you that don't know, we had the highs in March. Where did we come down to retest? We came down to exactly the same price. I've highlighted these before the stream 2-3 days ago, last time we looked at it. And what are we going to do now? What we'd want to see now is that. Okay, why is that the price that we need to care about? Because that is the previous all-time high over there. Previous close, $252. That's what we want to see. Maybe we don't see that. And maybe we actually see that. And we come down to 185-ish. That's previous resistance. We want to use one of these two numbers as support. We want to use 204 or we want to use 185. And we bounce off either. And I generally don't care which one we bounce off as long as we bounce off one of them. And if you want to get in to Solana, this is a good price. 185 is a good price. I can't see us coming down to 150. I mean, that's 25% drop. I can't see that just yet. We will come down and we will have a 25-30% correction along the way. I just don't know whether it's now or next month. Anyway, Solana's looking good for me. It's come exactly down to where we want it to come. Now, this one is for Peter, who's clearly become a meme coin maxi. Dogecoin ETFs aren't as crazy as they sound. And again, I'm including this because a lot of people out there were asking me about Dogecoin yesterday. Yeah, 186, absolutely. Richard Hart was another one, exactly. And meme coins. Peter, he streams. He streamed last night and he will stream on Friday night, and he streamed with me last Wednesday and the Wednesday before. I do the daily streams. So I do the morning streams and he does the trading streams. Occasionally, he will do the streams in the day if I've got to go and do something, but I don't. Meme coins are not my bag, okay? I say it all the time. I hold, what do I hold now in memes? Or did I sell them all? I can't think of much. I don't even know if I hold any anymore. I sold Bonk to make a video about Camino Finance and the JLP, which I never actually made. So I sold my Bonk. I've got Mew. I've got the Mew airdrop. That's probably the biggest one I hold, which is like, I don't know, $100. Oh, Dogecoin ETFs, why? The meme coin was created as a joke. It was created as a joke. In 2013, Dogecoin has a serious chance at making a Wall Street debut. Now, let me ask you this. Elon Musk has created Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. This coin hasn't really pumped. It pumped on the news of Trump, yes, went to 40 cents, whatever it might be. It's crap. I don't know why people buy it. I mean, as far as meme coins go, it's crap. Okay? If meme coins were the bottom 1% of crypto as far as value is concerned, Doge is half of that. It's trash. Now, don't get me wrong. There are community coins, which I don't consider meme coins anymore. So the likes of Bonk, any meme coin that creates value, that adds value, is no longer a meme coin in my eyes. So, and I've gone through it before, I don't want to keep going through it, but the ones that have created DEXs and bots and metaverses and their own DAOs and real world connections to Revolut and all that kind of stuff, they're not meme coins anymore in my eyes. Shiba probably shouldn't be classified as a meme coin, rather a community coin, but we can't have too many classifications. Doge, what's it done? It's trash. Right. The ETF industry is famous for throwing spaghetti at the wall. I imagine we'll see all kinds of stuff get attempted, including Doge. I'm actually surprised it hasn't been filed already, says Balchunas. Eric Balchunas we follow on X as well. Spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved this year. We've also got the Ethereum ones, which have been approved. That regulators have historically scrutinized applications for crypto ETFs to a high degree, presenting a difficult road to approval for an asset like Dogecoin unless the SEC under the SEC current administration. Now, again, the tokenomics of Doge, as far as I'm concerned, don't lend themselves very well to an ETF because of the tokenomics. It's proof of work, which should mean it can get an ETF, but it also has an unlimited supply. So it can be printed into nothing, just like the American dollar. There's really no difference between Doge and the American dollar, both meme coins. When assessing applications for spot ETFs, the SEC has traditionally required a digital asset, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, has a regulated futures market and substantial amounts of liquidity in its spot market. Again, liquidity is the ability to be able to sell without it massively affecting the price. If you want to sell $10 million of Dogecoin, you need to have the liquidity there to do that without it trashing the market. That is basically where they're coming at. So Gary Gensler is going to be gone. ETFs for Ripple, Solana, and Avalanche would come first. I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with this. I think we are going to see XRP and Solana. And if Avalanche gets an ETF, then it's going to rip. I do hold Avalanche. I've got it staked on chain. So I do hold some. I don't hold an awful lot. Can't even remember how much I've got. But I do like it now. If there is regulatory clarity, you could ostensibly see issuers purchasing pursue a Doge ETF. I don't want it to happen, and I don't think it will happen. What I would think would happen is that we see what Grayscale are doing, which is not a merger, that's not the right term, a fund, an index tracker, where you would have indexes for DeFi, layer ones, game tokens, metaverse tokens, and meme coins. Now, the issue you've got there is, how do you create a fund of meme coins or an index of meme coins that deals in a market that changes every 7 days? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, we know where they are. We know roughly where they're going to. We know roughly where they'll come down to. If you set up an index tracker today, in 1 month's time, it'll be out of date. Okay? So if you go back a month, we had no Gotius Maximus. We had no Peanut. They're now billion-dollar assets. For what reason? They shouldn't be there. Okay? So I don't understand how it could possibly work. If they then go down the route of saying, well, we're only going to list it if it's been around for so much, for so long, we're only going to list it if it's got a certain market cap, all this kind of stuff. Well, doesn't that take away the point of meme coins? The point of a meme coin is to find a gem, ride it up to 10 or 20x and sell it. If you've then got an index tracker, the index tracker is going to buy the top of all of these memes. It's going to lose everybody all of their money. Because let's say Peanut, which is at 1.4 billion, that suddenly goes into the index. And then guess what? The index buys it, it goes to 1.8 or 2 billion. And then guess what? Everyone's going to dump on it. And then it goes down to 500 million. You've lost 75% of your money. It's absolute madness. You might as well go, take your money, go to the horse track and bet on every grey horse. That you're going to have more chance of winning than that. Doodles NFTs saw on McDonald's collaboration. Again, we've gone from meme coins that I don't like to NFTs, which I really don't like. So Doodles, the IP-driven NFT project built by former Dapper Labs team members, is rallying after McDonald's, the largest fast food chain in the world, teased the collaboration. The nature of the collaboration is unknown, and the social media post hinted at more information. The Doodles floor price began to creep up after the McDonald's director said something a little different than usual is coming to McDonald's, a new kind of collabs to explore new spaces. Doodles holders were quick to sniff out the potential. The floor price has doubled to 2.6 ETH, which is what, let's say $8,000. Jesus. 740 ETH in daily volume, as much as Pungy Penguins. Again, if I was you, the only point in buying an NFT is buying an NFT that actually has some level of utility. So, what do I mean? Season tickets, NFTs that give you access to VIP parts of websites. The coffee shop is the best example. If you've got a red velvet NFT on your phone and you go into Starbucks and you wave your phone at them, or you scan the phone in, that unlocks a red velvet hot chocolate, okay? And everybody around you will go, ooh, and then they'll all want one, and then it will help Starbucks, and you'll get a VIP coffee, okay? That's how it works. It's a vanity project. You've seen the likes of Balenciaga and others that have launched NFTs that cost $5,000 or $8,000 that give you access to a private what do you want to call it? Like a private aid in their store that will take you around on WhatsApp, whatever it might be. Anyway, so when it comes to NFTs that are just pretty pictures, 99% of them will go down 99%. That's not a rule that existed before I just said it, but I think it stands true. You will see Bored Apes ripping in this bull market. You will see Mutant Apes. You will see the original, the OG NFTs, probably the Pudgy Penguins now as well. They will all rip up in this bull run. But beware of the Emperor's new clothes, okay? Let's say McDonald's do a collab with Doodles, and let's say they mint 100 million Doodle NFTs to give away with their curly fries. What's the value of that NFT? It doesn't have a value. It's got no value whatsoever. So you end up with a wallet that's got all of these NFTs that have no value whatsoever. In the olden days, when they gave you a little squeezy Stay Puft, if you kept that squeezy Stay Puft in its packet and you left it to one side, in 25 years' time, it'd be worth a fortune because people will want to collect it. It's a lot harder to get rid of 100 million NFTs because they're on the blockchain. You can't lose them down the back of your sofa or accidentally throw them out with the trash. So it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. I mean, holding a Doodles, it's great for you. You're up 200%, fantastic. If you hold some of the major OG meme coins, fantastic, you're up. But again, don't get trapped. You've got some spare money. You've done well in the bull run. Don't go and buy NFTs with your profits and then suddenly expect to 20x. Because as the money comes down from Bitcoin to the alts to the memes and then the NFTs is the end of the bull run. And just don't buy them. I've got NFTs. I've got NFTs in projects that I understand and I like and I want to be in. But I don't buy too many vanity NFTs. Now then, we're going to go and talk a little bit more serious now. So we've had trash talked the Dogecoin ETF. We've trash talked NFTs. This is a little bit more serious. We've got 4 minutes left. Let me get into this. Bitcoin, well, you big support. 99 go to 0. Easy way to fill other people's pockets. Bitcoin retest 85. I think 82,500 is my Bitcoin retest because I've seen several people show several charts with massive buying orders at 82,500. Now there is, did you put 78 there? Because that is another price. Right, 78,000, I believe there's an SME gap and we tend to fill them 95% of the time. So if we do come down, I think it'd be very quick and we'd bounce off 78,000 and come straight back up. So 78 is on the cards. I think KB, by the way, KB has a new nickname. We gave it him last night. KB stands for King Bear. So he is the bear now in chat. We've got one ear Kabir and we've now got KB, King Bear. And he was mentioning, somebody said we could go down to 50,000. We'd have to break so many floors of support to get to 50,000. I don't know if we're going to go below 70. In worst case scenario, with a black swan, then certainly we'll go to 60s. Why not? Because it's a black swan. We don't know how big a black swan it's going to be. So we could go down. But I think for levels, realistic levels, 82.5 and then 78 would be mine. And if we do get some kind of sell-off from the ETFs, that could also push us down as well. But again, it's short term. My target for the end of the year is in the bottom corner of the screen, which is 86,000. 86,000 by the end of the year. Somebody's just put 66,000 Bitcoin by protagonist. No chance we get there. Worst case 68, 69, but I can't see that. 82. I think 82. That's what everybody else is saying. And I haven't got the time to go and research all of the individual charts, you know, the heat maps and things like that. So I just look at people that put the heat maps up and see where the kind of the golden, yellow and the whites are. I don't know whether, I mean, we could go to 66 like the chap says, but we'd need a black swan and we'd need a hard rejection. Remember what we were saying about 30% corrections along the way. If we go to 90,000 and we get rejected and we go out through a 30% rejection, that would take us to 63,000. Okay, I'm not saying that's going to happen. If we go to 100,000 and we get a 30% correction, that would be 70,000. You see them in a bull run, and they happen. I think it's 7 times a bull run, and we've already had what, 3 or 4. We've still got 3 or 4 to go. So you can't count out them happening. It's when they're going to happen. That's the $1 million question. And I think interest rates are going to be cut on the 18th of December. I think it's 18th of December, a week before Christmas. If we don't see interest rate cuts and we see some kind of geopolitical issue in the world, then we could come down. Of course we could. But the probability at the moment is we go higher after a quick retest. That's what I think. Maybe we go to 82.5 and have another crack at 90. Remember, we've just done a $12,000 green week. There's very unlikely we're going to see another $12,000 green week. So it's a little bit like Peanut. Peanut's gone up 250% in 24 hours. What are the chances of it going up another 250% in 24 hours when it's at 1.4 billion? I don't see it. So a UK Bitcoin reserve is potentially on the cards. Now, everybody knows I am English, of Irish descent, but English. And no, I didn't like Liz Truss. And no, I didn't like Boris Johnson towards the end. But this guy takes the absolute biscuit. He is such a gaslighter. But if he brings in a Bitcoin reserve, he will have hopefully saved the UK and the debt problem that most countries have got. So, calls for a national UK Bitcoin reserve mount. Dear Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner, this is Peter McCormack. I know you're preoccupied with policies, farms and small businesses. Here's one constructive step you could take. Try and create a national reserve. Now, for those of you who don't know, the UK government has got, is it 120,000 Bitcoin or something like that on the books already? As long as we don't sell it. I mean, look what the Germans did under a socialist government. They sold the Bitcoin and the price went up, and they've lost. What was it? What did they lose in the end? Was it $100 billion or 80 billion or $60 billion? I don't know what the amount was. Maybe it wasn't that much. Maybe it's $1 billion. But they've cost their country. The question is, who made that decision, and are they being kept accountable for that decision? I mean, we know Germany is really on its knees at the minute. Nobody's buying anything German. The order book is the lowest it's ever been. Germany makes up a massive chunk of the European economy. If Germany falls in terms of its economics, Europe is going to absolutely tank, because that leaves France. Okay, so Germany really has to be a success, and they've just sold all of their Bitcoin. If the UK can hold on, that would be a massive, massive achievement for the UK. We're not going to talk too much about it. It's the end of the show. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent about UK policy, but I think Keir Starmer is, he's become so unpopular so quickly that it's shocked me how unpopular he has become in such a short space of time. Starmer, I know. I caught Peanut at 4 and sold at 8. Nice one. 82 then bounced. I think so. Right, it's 12:02. We have got to the end of the show. We do not need to keep you guys any longer. I'm just checking the messages. So what do I think could happen? Again, I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. The higher the price of Bitcoin goes, the more the dollar valuation will change. So if we go from 10,000 to 20,000, it's a 50% move. And it's simple maths, I know, but for newcomers, if we go from 10 to 20,000, that $10,000 move is a big move. Last week, we did a $12,000 move, okay? If we fall 5% today, that's $4,000, $4,500 off the price of Bitcoin. That takes us to 83,100. I think, if my maths are right. Again, it's a big dollar move, but as a percentage, it's not. What's going to happen in the future when we're at $200,000? You are likely to see less and less 10% moves, yes, because the amount of money it takes to move us. But even a 5% correction to the downside, That's a huge amount. It's a $10,000 day. We're going to see bigger and bigger moves from Bitcoin, and don't be shaken out by the dollar value that it moves. Look at the percentage it moves. Like I said, if we have a 5% correction from here, it's a 5% correction, not a $4,500. Bitcoin drops $4,500. Sounds a lot scarier than 5%. And you will see in the media, when the narrative switches from bullish to bearish, they will start quoting these drops in dollar values to give the biggest bang for their clicks. Okay, when we're at 100 and 150,000 and we drop $15,000 in a day or in a week, you're not going to see Bitcoin has a 10% correction. You're going to see $15,000 drop in Bitcoin because they go for the big numbers. They always do. So again, I am preempting this way into the future. And again, we might not come down. The ETFs could open today and choose buying, and they could buy up another 5 to 10,000 Bitcoin today, and we could be at 90,000. The ETFs are an unknown entity right now because their purchasing power is so extremely high. They just buy and buy and buy. $2.5 billion of trading in 4 hours is incredible. So keep the faith. Don't be shaken out. Wait for some dips. Pick up the dips if you want. Don't FOMO into these meme coins. You're going to see them up there. Peanut is already down 5%. Again, based solely on the fact that I said it's going to correct. It's down 5% in the last hour. Hopefully you all took your profits. Maybe don't take them too early. Like Aaron took them at 8 cents. He'd be a millionaire now. He'd be able to sponsor the channel for the next 10 years. Anyway, have a great day. Today is Wednesday. I'm back at 11 tomorrow. I haven't made any videos for a few days. I've been busy. I am going to try and make some more videos today. If not, take care. Thanks for popping in. See you in the morning. I'm going to try and go back over here and keep the faith.